Here are the files you will be using for Unit O as we work through the unit this week. You'll see that we have our HTML file, which we will be renaming shortly. And of course you will rename that to index.html. And then we will take our HTML-2 CSS and we're going to save that as our Lakeland.css sheet. So prior to doing that, we will be working over the applying the Appt Media rules for our first part here. Now CSS enables you to specify a target display medium for a style rule or style sheet using the media types that are listed in your table in your book, and you can take a look at those as you get time. Because we talked about those several weeks ago when we were in Unit D. And some of those media types we talked about were like Braille, handheld, print, projection, TV, screen, teletype. So you can refer back to your table D7 if you like to there in your e-text. Now style rules that incorporate media types are sometimes known as Appt Media rules because the selectors start with the at media prefix. CSS3 adds support for media queries, which are just conditional statements that you can include in an Appt Media rule. Now, media queries enable you to check features of the browser opening a web page and to apply the style rules based on requirements you set. Now, some of those media features would be like height, width, the device height and width, orientation, aspect ratio, resolution, stuff like that. And the width and device width features and their related properties are commonly used for mobile-specific styles because dimension are good indicators of whether a device is mobile or not. So having that general information there, let's go ahead and move into completing our steps for applying our Appt Media rules here for Unit O. Go ahead and change the name of your files as I indicated earlier. Go ahead and change your HTML-1 to index. And we will change our HTML-2 cascading style sheet to be our Lakeland cascading style sheet. Once you've got that done, you can go ahead and open up your index.html and insert your line in there for your name and for the class information as you've done each and every week. Now let's go ahead and we're going to start working with our Lakeland cascading style sheet. So go ahead and open that up now in your text editor. Okay, now that we are in our text editor, let's go ahead and scroll to the bottom of our Lakeland cascading style sheet here. Once you're at the bottom there, we are going to go ahead and add a new line. And for this line, we are going to then type Appt Media only screen and in parentheses max device width colon 124 pix end parenthesis, and then we're going to have an open bracket after that, and we will enter twice. Then we're going to indent and we're going to type in our close bracket. So let's go ahead and do this now. Now if you would take a look at our line here, and you see where we use the word only. Now this keyword prevents older browsers from mistakenly implementing a rule but isn't otherwise required in an Appt Media rule. And you also see here that we have used max here. Now you can use the min or max prefixes to specify a range of sizes. The styles within this Appt Media rule will be applied when a page is rendered on a screen with a width of 1024 pix or less. So now we're going to enter some code here inside our braces. So we'll go ahead and get on that line there. And within our braces here of our Appt Media rule, we're going to create a style rule based on the figure selector. We're going to give it the name value pair display colon none, and then we'll end that name value pair with a semicolon. Let's go ahead and enter that now. Great job. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to create another rule. So go ahead and hit a enter key there. If I can scroll this down a little bit. I'm going to add a couple blank lines here just so we can see this information a little bit better. Now let's create a style rule based on the hashtag content selector with a name and value pair of margin colon 0.25 EM, and then we'll end that with a semicolon. Once you've got that done, go ahead and hit the enter key to allow you room for another rule. So we're going to now create another rule based on the hashtag main nav selector that sets our padding to 0.25 EM, a width to 100%, position to static, and left to 0. Go ahead and create that rule now. Okay, we'll go ahead and enter that now. There is our hashtag main nav rule. Now, a little explanation for our hashtag main rule is that this rule will change the nav bar to a horizontal arrangement at the top of the web page. That way you got a little bit of explanation just for why we did what we just did. Now for our next part, let's open up our index.html in our text editor, and we're going to locate the h1 element near the top of the body section. We're going to add that our class equals desktop. We're going to add that to our opening tag. Let's go ahead and open up our index.html file in our text editor. Okay, as you can see, we are in our index.html, so we're going to scroll down and find our h1. Here it is. We're going to go ahead and add our information inside this tag. So in our opening tag here, let's just go ahead and hit space, and we'll just put class equals desktop. Now we're going to create a new h1 element beneath this existing one, and we're going to specify that the class of that is mobile, and then we're going to put some code inside our new h1 element. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, we're going to hit enter here now that we have a new line, so we can put our new h1 element. Now as you can tell, before we do this, I just want to make sure that you realize that what we did previously when we put the class equals desktop, now we have a style rule that will ensure that the standard logo is displayed on a desktop display. Now the new style rule that we're going to put in place here will ensure that, or will enable text-based heading with smaller graphics on our mobile size screens. Let's go ahead and enter that now. Like I said, we're going to call this the class of mobile. Let's go ahead and put your code in now. We have our h1 class mobile. We are referencing our image source here. We are specifying our width and height, and we've given it our title of Lakeland Reads Bed and Breakfast. And then make sure, as always, that you have your closing tag there, your closing element. Okay, once you've got that completed, go ahead and save your work, just because we made such dramatic changes here. So let's go ahead and save that. And we're going to go back now to our, here in our Lakeland Cascading style sheet. We're going to go ahead and go back to that now. Now that we're back here in our Lakeland Cascading style sheet, what we're going to do is we're going to create a rule based on our .mobile selector. And within that, we're going to have our style display full colon, none, semicolon. So let's go ahead and scroll up here now. We're going to go right below our .first col. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the enter key here to create a new line. And we're going to put that new rule in place. And it should look just like that. .mobile, display, none. Now let's scroll back down to the bottom at our Appt Media section here. And beneath our existing rules here, we're going to add a rule based on the .desktop selector with the style display of none. Then we're going to add a second rule based on the .mobile selector with a display of block. Once you've got that completed, go ahead and we're going to save our work. So I'll hit enter line here, and I will put in my rule for .desktop, display none. I'm going to hit another line, and I'm going to include my second rule, which is for the .mobile selector. And once you have that completed, you will see that now you have created this area for our style rules that are implemented only on devices that meet conditions of the Appt Media rule. Let's go ahead and save our work now. Now, if possible, go ahead and publish your web page there on the web server, and along with the supporting files that are in your student files, and try to open with a mobile device and see how your website now views. Now here's a screenshot captured from our site based on a handheld device with a display width of 480px. So hopefully yours looks similar to that. You shouldn't have any issues once you've uploaded your files to the web server and then open them from a mobile device. That's it for applying the Appt Media rules. Next we are going to be moving on to the next section, which is over implementing conditional style rules, or implementing conditional style sheets. So we'll talk about that next in our next lesson. So thank you for following along, and that, like I said, will conclude applying our Appt Media rules to our website.